that all synced up. Everyone has their audacities going. Everyone's got everything good. Everything going fine.
It sounds like you're already putting your performer voice on.
I've always got my performer voice on.
Yeah, but this was distinct.
Yeah, it's a little distinct.
The cat's out the bag. Nick never sounds like this when you talk to him in real life.
Yeah. Welcome everyone back to Cryptid Zoo. This is episode 4, I believe. We've got a very special episode, especially because this is a cryptid. I know I say this in every one, but this is a cryptid that I've been looking forward to for a long time, specifically because it is hands down my favorite cryptid. And there's a lot of sentimentality attached to it, considering it's part of our home state. And as such, we've got a little curveball for everyone. I decided to bring on a guest, so to say. Matthew is a longtime friend of ours and another resident of Michigan. I won't get into any specifics, but at the very least, I figured we might as well bring him on for this one and see what happens. So Matthew, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, way to dox me. Cool.
I'll dox you all the time.
Dox him harder.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter. I'll dox myself eventually. Just give it time.
Anyways, so today we are tackling the Michigan Dogman, as said. There's a lot of baggage attached to this one. So if you guys are ready, how about we get into it?
Yeah, let us.
I need to make a quick disclaimer before the podcast begins. I realize that 3 episodes in, we failed to mention something that makes the rest of these cryptids possibly feasible, and that is I forgot to talk about Fleshgate. To briefly touch on it so that we can address it and then move on, the idea of Fleshgate is, in a layman's terms, is that these monsters have existed and just exist. They're beyond natural reason, and they are something that the government acknowledges and is trying to sort of prevent or keep secret. So, you know, things like Bigfoot and Mothman even could potentially fall under this category. So if our theories don't fully fit, there's always the idea of Fleshgate. I'm just not going to acknowledge it. So without further ado.
Who created this theory then?
That is something something for us to tackle when we do get to that.
Interesting. Okay.
The Michigan Dogman is a bipedal humanoid creature standing around 7 feet tall. The creature is said to bear traits resemblant of a wolf, with descriptions more accurately depicting a werewolf-like creature. You know, sharp fangs, claws, eyes, things like that. And I also think it's worth noting that, you guys know this, werewolves are one of my 2 fears, like 2 biggest fears. I am terrified of werewolves. So naturally, I love the hell out of the Dogman.
Yeah, so like speaking on that, I don't have any knowledge on Dogman thing. I mean, other than what can be assumed through its name, which I figure is kind of like obvious, but yeah, I don't know nothing about it, and I do tend to be a more outdoorsy person. Just guess I didn't get to that part of the internet or nobody to tell me about it, so.
One more question real quick before we get into the stories. Are we going to delve into why it's called Dogman and not just a werewolf?
Well, sort of. It's mostly an implied name where it's like, it's not the Michigan werewolf, it's the Michigan Dogman. Sorry, I said that so weird. The Michigan Dogman, because as the traits describe, it is a dog man, not a werewolf. A werewolf is a human that transforms into a wolf at night. The Dogman just exists. And with that, how about we get into the case files? I've got 2 stories. 2 pretty big stories. We're going back to the 2 stories, and these are meaty old stories, so strap in. Our first story follows a man who describes a long-standing encounter with the Dogman that he experienced in his early stages of childhood. Who the hell talks like that? In 1988, Alto, Michigan, an elementary school student was playing during recess around 10 o'clock in the morning. The student was playing a game of war when he decided to run out into the woods adjacent to the playground. He was cheating.
Guerrilla warfare, I like it.
Navigating to a river, he heard a large splash, only for him to witness what can only be described as a dogman leaping from one side of the river to the other, before disappearing into the brush. It is worth noting that the creature seemed to alternate from 4 legs to 2 before being enveloped by the woods. The narrator ran straight home to his bed, skipping class for the rest of the day, staying silent about his encounter until adulthood. The creature is described as 8 feet tall with bright eyes and a powerful stride. However, this is not where the story ends. In the town of Lowell, winter 2008. Now living with a family of his own, the man heard a loud thud on the roof. Like a flash, his Dogman memories immediately flooded back without any reason or prompting, which raises the question of supernatural abilities pertaining to the Dogman. Sneaking outside, an all too familiar Dogman peered its head out from the top of the roof, staring directly at him. The Dogman leaped 30 feet from the roof and bolted on all fours towards the tree line, only to stand upright and stare at the man. After a minute of this silent exchange between the two, the creature walked calmly into the woods, disappearing for the last time.
Now, like, granted, this could be just how the story was told. He hears a loud thud on his roof, and then all of a sudden, all the Dogman memories start rushing back, right?
Yes.
That to me just kind of sounds like a scene from a movie or a TV show. Like, it sounds scripted.
That's the area where you need to like stop, take a step back, and ask yourself, why would that happen? And sort of, this implies a supernatural link between the Dogman, which, let's be honest, it's a cryptid. There is going to be supernatural links
Right.
to this. So the question is it, well, you know, there may be a connection when we get into the active theories. You know, I'll tackle that when we get to it. But, you know, it's you're looking at this too much from a grounded perspective as opposed to letting the supernatural be supernatural.
Okay.
You know, it's not, it wasn't a PTSD thing is the idea. It was a, why am I remembering this right now?
Yeah, by the way, when you were talking about the thud and the loud noise went off in my house, I got freaked out for like a millisecond, and then I realized it was the sound of water filling up. So then I got double scared and thought that a pipe or something bursted in the new house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hopped up to go check it. And I guess we just have some tanks like in the washing room, which is right next to where I am, that just fill up with water, I guess, on a scheduled time. But I ran in there because you were like, oh yeah, like the thud and then the dog man, and then just a loud noise happened in my house, and I was like, oh shit, he's here. Yo guys, I fucked around. I'm about to find out.
So the general reason why I picked that story was to sort of lay down a foundation of maybe not some pattern behaviors of the Dogman, but at the very least a semi-credible story, or at the very least an interesting one nonetheless. But that's going to lead us straight into our case file 2, which I think this one's a lot more grounded, and you know, you'll see.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the first story, because the fact that he saw it when he was so young, so much time passed, and the memory suddenly came back, which I know was supernatural. We've already acknowledged that. And he saw it again, but I mean, I don't know. That one sounds more like a story than something that I can really logically think about, but that might just be because the supernatural element's diluting it for me.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
let me give you your realistic story.
Yay.
The second story takes place in the town of Reed City in November 2007. Sam and his 2 friends were out hunting, each posted in their own deer blinds hoping to catch something before the sun would set. Just as the day would begin to slip into a sunset, the previous noise of birds and crickets would fall silent, much to Sam's discomfort. The silence hung in the air for a minute, until 3 deer ran past Sam in his stand, followed by a foul scent that would be described as similar to a mothball. A massive, hunched-over, yellow-eyed creature broke from the bushes standing on 2 legs, in pursuit of the deer. Sam stayed put in the stand, frozen with fear, until his friends arrived. The 3 started to head home, mocking Sam for his cowardice. The next day would remain an ordinary hunt until around 5 p.m. Sam heard gunshots being fired from about 100 feet away, followed by a screaming coming from his radio. After meeting with his friend, the man would describe the exact same Dogman that Sam had seen, claiming it ran away before anything escalated. Despite the events, the group would continue to hunt for the full 4 days. On the 4th day, the creature ran into a well-lit clearing in front of 2 of the 3 hunters. It stared at them directly and started what they would describe as a foul grin. Sam's friend aimed his gun at the monster, only for it to run off immediately, About an hour later, the third friend radioed in.
Guys, are you in a werewolf suit at my blind? Because it's not funny.
Before either of them could answer, 5 distinct shots echoed in the distance. The third friend was overall safe, but Sam noticed deep, distinct claw marks in the base of his rifle. Returning to their cabin, the group would find the snowy area around the campsite riddled with large canine footprints, and the very same claw marks embedded into the front door of the cabin.
Man, this thing was literally leaving footprints for them.
More specifically, it wasn't like leaving behind clues, it was around their cabin, and more specifically, it left a note on the door, which is, come into my woods again and I'll fuck you up.
I want to start off with saying that them staying there after the second encounter is like, I feel like after the first, depending on who it encountered first, I don't even know if I would stay. But like in my shoes, I feel like after the second encounter, I'm gone. I don't know why they stayed there any longer, like not expecting to run into this thing.
I think it's mostly because they didn't know what they saw. Like, they didn't fully know if it was the Dogman or if it was a bear or something like that.
Debatably, a bear is a little more scary.
Oh, hell no.
Well, I guess we don't have grizzly bears in Michigan. We only have brown bears.
Black bears.
We got black bears.
Yeah, black bears, my bad. Yeah, no, I don't even think we don't have like any massive bears in Michigan.
No, and black bears are extremely docile.
But
Yeah.
big note is we do get wolves up in northern Michigan, so.
And I should also like remind you that the thing that makes the last story interesting is that the claw marks were a 1-to-1 copy from the door to the butt of the rifle. Like, they were the exact same claw marks.
Interesting.
Ooh, do they still have the rifle? Did pictures of the rifle ever get out or no?
I think they still have the rifle. I did not find the pictures, but then again, I never went looking for them, so.
Okay.
This one's definitely way more believable, considering it's from multiple accounts, assuming they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's up in northern Michigan, so I would expect people to be like more, not super north, but like more northwest. But I'd expect people to be hunting up there. I've hunted around there before as well, so I think for that part it's pretty believable. It's just it's impossible to know from somebody's word alone. And honestly, as somebody who spends a lot of time in the woods, I hope they're making the shit up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Maybe next episode they come back and Matthew's encountered Dogman at this point.
No, yeah, everyone's trying to shoot it, but
That's fair. This thing has like mad evasion skills. Can we talk about that for a second? This thing has gotten shot at how many times? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. Everyone in the northern part of Michigan are a bunch of gun-toting hicks. They shoot on sight, and
Yeah.
that's not coming from a place of hate. I am a gun-toting hick, so speaking from our like bloodline and everything, we would shoot that thing the moment it crept into the clearing. Be like, might not be a deer, might not be the season, kill it anyways.
If not, like, not because you're threatened, but it's just kind of like, damn, I killed the Dogman.
I kind of feel like this thing likes to with people a little bit.
Oh, it's extremely malicious.
Oh no, seriously. Like, I mean, we have the first story where the guy encounters it as a kid, and then he sees it again as an adult, and then now we have this one that's literally just toying with these fucking hunters, man.
Something that kind of catches me off guard, because I mean the claw marks on the butt of the gun, like I could definitely see that happening. But my reasoning for it is, unless he was like in a tree stand and he couldn't get to him, which I think based on what I heard in the description he was, but something that's described as 7 or 8 feet has crazy long wingspan. That thing, like, that reach is insane. So I find it hard to believe that it could reach the butt of the gun, but not any further.
You're talking about a shack-sized cryptid.
Yeah.
One of the things that widely contributed to the spread of the Michigan Dogman and sort of embedded it into Michigan like folklore, to say the least, is that a radio disc jockey actually made a song about the legend, and it's a cool one. It's one that I can see being sung around campfires, and that's mostly how it spread.
Can you sing it for me?
I'll sing the whole 5 minutes, coming right up.
Thank you.
No, please stop.
Doggy,
Party
No.
pooper.
No.
He come out at night.
No, stop.
Keep going.
Doggy.
No.
He might give you a fright.
Please, stop.
Dog.
Yo, Halloween hasn't even started.
Don't
I
you
get
give
that we're
him
in, like,
bone.
October, but this is
Dog
this is more than
dog.
terrifying. You need to stop right now.
In your ear he'll moan.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. What?
Okay.
As for territory for the Dogman, it is said that Matthew sort of picked up on it, is that the creature is found in the northeastern part of Michigan. And I want to say this for Matthew, but we own a property in the Dogman stomping grounds. I won't say where it is because I don't want to give out any information, but we
Double
do.
box?
People have drawn similarities between the Dogman and the Beast of Bray Road, which is another one that we'll probably have to tackle later. For a quick synopsis, the Beast of Bray Road is essentially a tall, like hairy, creature that stalks the Wisconsin area, which is 1-to-1 for Michigan. That's something. And then the last one is just a little bit of folklore. Don't consider this as hard canon. This isn't like biological facts. This is just legend, okay? But the legend says that new sightings are prophesized to appear every 10 years. So the next sighting would be in 2027.
Ooh, okay. I guess keep your eyes peeled, boys.
I'll let you know if I see anything.
By that time, we'll be like 24. If we really wanted, we could go hunting and die.
Though I've spent a lot of those times, I've spent a lot of time in those woods to not get jumped. So it makes you wonder, like, is there supposed to be like multiple dog men, or is it the dog man him alone?
Probably the singular Dogman, because sightings are sort of like spread out amongst cities around different time frames, meaning he gets around, but it takes him a while because he doesn't own like a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Okay, so new question. Who and why did they do it with a wolf? Because nothing else makes sense in my mind. How, like, I mean, Dogman, who did it?
So you guys ready to go into the active theories? You guys ready to go into the active theories? All right.
Let's go for it.
So for this one, we only have 2, technically 3 theories. And the first one sort of falls into the flesh pedestrian category, and that is that the Dogman is a skinwalker. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what a skinwalker is, it is a creature of Native American folklore that is said to have once been human, but through dark magic and ritualistic practices, is able to sort of take the form of creatures in a very distorted, malicious, and evil way. So, that being said, the Dogman does actually fall into a lot of Native American folklore, and it is seen amongst many different stories. So, I think that gives some credence to the skinwalker theory.
I think that one seems pretty plausible already off the rip. Starting off with a banger.
I am a little hesitant to pursue the Native American territorial monsters that they always talk about, I guess. Only because, like, sometimes I feel like it does make sense, but other times I feel like innately saying that Native Americans spawned evil things, I feel like that is maybe probably a westernized idea.
No, it definitely
I don't-
is.
I don't think they were innately evil. I mean,
Skinwalkers
I
were.
get it. Yeah, skinwalkers definitely, but I don't think innately, like, Native Americans themselves had anything to do with anything evil that got spawned. Yeah. You get what I'm saying, though.
Well, you're really going to hate this next theory then.
I think the Skinwalker one's actually pretty interesting. I feel like it's unlikely that it's the case, but I also feel like it's unlikely that Dogman's out there, because I'm a very big skeptic. But I do like the theory. I think it's pretty interesting. Like, the Skinwalker, instead of doing Skinwalker things, was more like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with these guys.
The next theory is that it's a Native American spirit
Oh my goodness.
and torments the woods. I'm just presenting the theories. I didn't come up with them.
It sounds so westernized.
I
don't
didn't
know.
come up with them.
That is the dumbest. I'm not even gonna lie. This is nothing against you. I genuinely want to walk away after hearing that.
No, because I didn't make the theory. I'm just presenting it.
Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with like Native American horror stories? Like, I think they're kind of cool and interesting.
I guess there's one more theory before we get into the realistic theory.
I mean, does it come off as more believable than the other ones to you? Like, I don't know if anyone's more or less believable than the others. I mean, like, I think they're the same level of unlikely.
Technically, there is a third one. I just didn't really include it because I don't know. It's not because I don't believe it or any of that. I just didn't know. But it's the one that sort of jumps out immediately. You said it at the beginning of the podcast, so I'm going to bring it up here. The third theory is that it's actually a werewolf, a form of lycanthropy, said to only manifest roughly every 10 years, giving credence to the prophecy, to say the least, or at the very least, explaining where the Dogman goes and how it gets around.
I think this is my least favorite one. And this isn't ranking it in like terms of believability or not. I think it's my least favorite because it takes away the individuality of the Dogman. Because it goes from there being a Dogman as well as like werewolves to it's just a werewolf with something else going on. Whereas the other theories kind of kept it individualized.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not a big fan of the werewolf theory, which is why I almost didn't include it, but I was like, I kind of have to, just for the sake of fairness.
And I think Matt makes a very good point too, because like even I said earlier, like why isn't it just called a werewolf then? Because then it would just be called the Michigan werewolf.
I gotta get these dogs under control.
With that being presented, let's get to the last theory. I'm gonna call this we're gonna call the last theory of each of these proof, which is basically just a rationalized explanation to the cryptid in an attempt to make sense of the legend. The proof is that the Dogman is actually a bear. Now, in the Lizard Man episode, JC did describe bears walking on 2 feet, which granted is possible. However, the area where this becomes a bit unlikely is that bears are not meant to walk on 2 feet. And if they are going to walk on 2 feet, it's only for 5 feet. They cannot make it far. Their bodies, it's like humans trying to walk on all fours and look natural. It's very difficult.
Nor can they jump 30 feet from a roof. And also, last but not least, bears are pretty like iconic, I'd say. And considering we only have black bears up here, you would know if you saw a bear.
Could you imagine a grizzly or brown bear kind of getting loose in like northeast or northwest Michigan?
Yeah, could you imagine a polar bear coming to Michigan? I think that thing would dominate everything. Like
that big
towns
wouldn't last 10 seconds.
Okay, Matthew has a different opinion, but
a polar bear?
I mean, I don't know, maybe in the winter.
Demo getting blasted.
No, you're right.
He ain't making that shit. Dude, I guarantee you, somebody might not even have a license to hunt any type of bear, and they're gonna see a all-white bear and go, you'd make a good carpet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Michigander mindset.
How do you sleep at night? On bear fur.
Or like a coat. Could you imagine? Like, you get a new coat and everyone's like, damn, where'd you get that coat? It's like, it's a polar bear coat. And they're like,
You like flip up the hood, it's its head.
The Detroit Zoo lost a polar bear. Wonder where it could have went. So it's the guy in like all polar bear gear.
I guess now I gotta ask the question. Out of the 3 theories in the proof, which one do you think is more... Which one do you like more? Which one do you think is more realistic? Which one do you like more?
To tell you which one I don't like. Okay. I think the one that I'm gonna say that I actually do like the most, out of these 3, I'm gonna have to go with the first one.
Say it. What is it called?
The one where it has to do with the skinwalkers.
Yes.
The Native Americans.
Okay, remove the Native Americans from the question. You're making it sound like they're the villains in this story.
Well, that's what westernizing Native Americans did.
No, you're right, but that, like, skinwalkers are a part of their culture. It's like, that's not westernizing it. That's just what they are. They're like, oh no, skinwalkers are assholes.
That's just like a horror story.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just more so to do with the fact that I'm okay with it, and it's probably my most like, just because I don't like questioning its existence. Why am I going to question Dogman's existence?
That's the whole point of the podcast.
Or it exists. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to try and think, too hard on how that thing got spawned in.
Well, the idea behind it is that it's always been here.
Maybe it's immortal.
That is a possibility. The latest sighting of the Dogman dates back to 1888.
I'm gonna have to go with the werewolf.
You don't like you like the werewolf, not the skinwalker?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the werewolf.
Why is that?
Personally, because I've been watching the Twilight movies a lot. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't do that with a straight face. No, I like the skinwalker. The skinwalker was easily the most believable to me.
Okay. Matthew?
Honestly, I'm having a hard time picking between the skinwalker and the Native American angry spirit thing. To be quite honest, it being a skinwalker is cool, and it's also a pretty neat theory to think about, but I also feel like it takes away from its individuality a little bit. Like, oh, it's not the Dogman, it's just a skinwalker. Oh, it's not the Dogman, it's just a werewolf. And I sure as hell am not saying it's a bear. So...
Yeah. For me, I think I'm going to have to fall in line, unfortunately, and go with the skinwalker, only because, like, since we haven't fully discussed flesh pedestrians and I can't fully explain it just yet, I can't explain it. And I can't pick that one if I haven't explained it. So the closest one that falls in that category is skinwalker. But let it be known that the idea behind the skinwalker category is that it is a creature that has existed. We've all got our theories laid out. Now let's lay out the categories and answer the first one. Do we like it? How does everyone feel about the Dogman? Note that this is a very personal story and monster to my heart, so just know that your answers will affect your standing in the podcast. So, Brendan, did you go first? Do you like the Dogman?
Go first. Oh, yeah. You're gonna let me go first. Are you sure this is a good idea? Do you really want to let me go first?
Yeah, I trust your opinion.
You know, honestly, I think overall, I think he's pretty cool. I feel like if I ever saw the Dogman, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I think I would grab one of my dog's toys and I'd try to throw it at him.
Okay.
See what he would do.
Well, maybe that'll help you.
Help me? How would it help me?
Well, if you see the Dogman, he's probably gonna maul your ass.
He's gonna see the dog toy, and he'll be like, "Hold on, let me chew on this toy real quick.
He's gonna be like,
I'm gonna maul you in a second, but just give me a moment."
Yeah, you know, like maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of Dogman, in concept or not. I'm gonna go say, and I'm a little biased considering it is a Michigan cryptid, but I just like the idea of it. I really do. Just kind of the whole. I've always been infatuated with canine-like creatures like foxes, wolves, stuff like that.
Furries.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't call you a furry. I said furries. I said furries. Matthew, do you like Dogman?
I mean, he's all right. I don't like him that much, though.
All right, I'm removing Matthew from the call. Moving on to our next category, we are going to be delving into treasure hunt. The rules are simple. I'm going to give these 3 minutes to go find the most obscure piece of Dogman merchandise. Whichever one I like best wins, and if they all pick the same one, they all have to buy it. 3 minutes starts now. Go find something. Time's up. Gentlemen, you each have your own piece of Dogman merchandise. Who wants to go first?
JC made a noise.
JC made a noise. That's a volunteer.
He did make a noise.
Here we go. All right, so I have a Beware of Dogman shirt.
Okay.
It's got him kind of peeking over a fence. Now, it ain't the greatest.
Yeah, that is a plain black t-shirt with a little fence that says Beware of Dogman with a, I'll be honest, shitty, picture of Dogman looking over the fence.
Listen.
Like a fat kid staring at a cupcake.
This is what truly makes it unique, and that is that it's $26.
It's $26. You think the price is gonna do you in?
Bro, mine's 25. You just got beat already.
I'm saying 26 for this is kind of terrible.
That is terrible. So why are you going for the worst option?
I think it adds to kind of how unique this is, all right?
Okay.
You know how many people have actually probably purchased this thing?
Probably 2.
less. I couldn't imagine any human wearing that. If somebody's wearing that, I'm gonna think they're a skinwalker.
Probably, yeah. All right, Matthew, please present
Okay.
your merchandise.
So you'll see it's pretty much the same as JC's, but it's scaled up a bit.
Okay.
Now, this goes back to my original theory.
Dogman,
Don't look it in the eye.
Dogman breeding area. Avoid
Avoid eye contact.
I hate this game. I hate it.
Oh my
Bro,
God.
I hate it. I hate this game, bro.
We have our first dual purchase.
Shouldn't have been so confident,
and
idiot.
Matthew both picked the exact same item. As per the rules, they both have to buy it, and we will have a follow-up on our YouTube channel. Please check us out at Cryptid Zoo on YouTube. Oh my god, that is insane. We got 2 caution Dogman breeding areas. I'm not gonna lie, if that didn't happen,
Avoid eye contact.
if that didn't happen, one of you guys would have
personally,
won.
I think I won.
Well, unfortunately, since you both got the exact same one, you guys both have to take a loss. And JC, by default, which I think is the funniest way to win this, because that is the worst piece of merchandise I've ever seen. You win somehow.
Yo, I quit.
Continuing the streak of winning. He's won 4 games in a row. Moving on to our next category. After that devastating loss. Brendan, Matthew, how you feel?
I'm not coming back for this.
The funny thing is that's going to be censored, so no one's going to know what you just said. All right, moving on to the next category. We have encounter. Gentlemen, you're walking down a woodland trail in the middle of the night. It's about 2 in the morning. As you hear the sound of twigs snapping behind you, you turn around, shine your flashlight. Boom! There's a 7-foot-tall dog man with these beet yellow eyes staring straight at you. What do you do? Who wants to go first?
So,
I'm gonna shove my fist down its throat and trigger its gag reflex.
oh yeah, no, yeah, sure, just.
All right,
that was my answer.
You throw your fist into its mouth, it bites down, takes your hand with it. Okay, I guess you just die. It slashes your throat, you die.
Oh my god, Matthew just died. I just watched Matthew die. Alright, here, I got you.
Wait, is JC here?
Yeah, that's what he gets for interrupting me.
I guess. Sure.
Wait,
you
I
guys-
tripped JC and run.
All right.
You kidding me?
With what legs, chicken nugget? Anyways.
Bro, he bit my arm, not my legs, dummy.
He ate you already.
Nah, man.
All right, he takes your hand. You pull it out. You go, trip JC, run away. JC, you're on the floor. What do you do?
I dial up Shaquille O'Neal. I got him on speed dial. I'm gonna have him fight Dogman to the death.
Shaquille O'Neal picks up the phone. He goes, "Hey, what up, JC?" And you go,
Hey, I'm fighting Dogman. I need you out here ASAP.
click, hangs up.
Dang.
Dogman jumps on you, starts mauling you.
No. I kick him off and I trip Brendan and run.
Okay. After suffering heavy lacerations to your back and arms, you throw him off as you stand up, kick Brendan in the back of his knee and run. Brendan, you're on the ground. What do you do?
He went from going first to getting kicked in the fucking knees.
So I get up and I just kind of look at Dogman and I'm like, man, this is kind of shitty. I was gonna go first, and then I got interrupted. That just wasn't cool. And then now I'm getting tripped, bro. And it's like, and now you're gonna eat me, man. Like, can I just? You ever heard of NFTs?
Sounds like the Big Mac's talking back.
No, snaps your neck. All right, so that was a fun encounter. Only 2 of you made it out. Brendan died horribly because he tried to promote NFTs to the Michigan Dogman. Only 2 of you guys made it out.
That's not fair, bro.
Take it up with them. You got trash ass
Dogman
friends.
has never attacked anyone, but now he attacks me all because I try to put him on to some financial knowledge.
Or everyone he has attacked never lived to see it. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to our next category, which is Death Battle. In this category, we are going to pit this cryptid up against the rest of the cryptids we have discussed on this podcast. Don't worry, we'll give you a brief list of the ones we've talked about in Season 1. Today's combatants are the legendary Mothman, Lizardman, and the Flatwoods Monster. Fellas, who do you think's taking this fight? Who do you think the Dogman beats in a one-on-one fight?
He's tearing through
Well,
Mothman.
Mothman's done for.
Yeah.
Mothman's done. We all agree on this.
Yep. I think I agree. Mothman's out of the. Yeah, he's done.
I think Lizard Man's getting his head ripped off.
Yeah, I think this is our first contender.
Because
Grab and twist.
because we already
Grab and
talked about
twist.
this. His government powers, man.
Doesn't matter.
What's the Lizard Man?
Long story short, it's literally just a lizard man.
I think the Lizard Man's getting his head ripped off then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
That's what
this
we're
is
saying.
our first. I think this is our champion. I don't even think Flatwood's monster remotely.
So
because,
the Flatwoods Monster is where we contend a little bit. Just a reminder, the Flatwoods Monster is a 10-foot tall, 4-foot wide tank of a creature. Comprised completely of metal, and it's got some sharp claws. That's all we know about it. As much as I want to give this to the tank that is the Flatwoods Monster, I think I'm going to have to lean more towards the Dogman, because the Dogman is borderline almost as tall as it, and also probably more vicious.
Dogman's defense has got to be pretty high considering its bullet sponge like thing, and if it's not a bullet sponge, its evasiveness is going to keep it in the fight for a very long amount of time.
I think, does everyone agree that Dogman wins?
Dogman definitely wins.
My vote is
Dogman
Dogman.
I think so. Yeah.
Dogman wins.
I think he's too fast and probably packs too much of a punch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the Flatwoods Monster is made for combat at all.
It's not. If it's a
scouting.
drone, it's
Yeah,
made
it's
for
a scouting
scouting.
drone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a survey drone.
With all that being said, we are going to move on to our last category, the one that has hung in the air ever since we started the episode. After everything you've heard, after all the speculation we've done, after all the theories, after hearing all the stories, do you think, at the end of the day, the Dogman, could it be real?
I don't think it's real. If we go by like the Skinwalker theory, at least I'm going to use the Skinwalker theory here. I
Okay.
find it a little odd that a Skinwalker would keep the same form. Like, if it has access to almost anything, why would it stay the same form?
This is
I mean,
where
granted, that could also back up the fact that there aren't many sightings.
there's a lot of sightings.
Well, in any case, I like the Dogman, and I do think he's real. Throwing that out there. I'm gonna reverse my little trend that I've kind of had going.
All right. He's going to start lying to the audience.
I think the Dogman is entirely possible, whether it is an abomination, a mutation, or some kind of skinwalker. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think at some point it totally could have existed. Yeah, that's really it.
Me personally, not really. I feel like the evidence gathered today wasn't compelling enough for me to really like immerse myself into it and logically view it from my point of view or in my own shoes, and it doesn't come off as something that's gonna come out and eat me in the woods if I'm out there hunting. I'll let you know if I see it though.
So, with me being the last one standing, I'm going to give us an even 50-50 and say that, you knew the answer from the beginning. I also realized that I didn't answer the do we like it, but I think it's pretty obvious. I really like the Dogman. And furthermore, I do believe that it's real. I do believe that it's a deep-rooted part of Michigan history. And I only hope that, evidence won't contradict me, because then I'll look like a real fool. So.
Well, join us next time when we find out, does the Dogman indeed have that dog in him? We're setting Matthew up there with a 12-gauge shotgun. Let's find out.
I'm taking more, bro. I'm taking an anti-material fucking atom bomb, bro.
Anti-material atom bomb.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tune in next time when we tackle the Jersey Devil.
Sheesh.
See you later. Bye, guys.